Cheers! Welcome to my channel. This is a timely tarot oracle reading about random shift. This is a general or collective reading, so parts of it may or may not resonate with you. Take what works for you and leave the rest. Also, this is a timely reading. If you're watching it at this time, it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it has been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then? All right, we do have this energy here of the underlying energy for the entire reading from the tarot is the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands represent the element of fire. The Eight of Wands are talking about something being launched. It could be a project. This is the wands are representing fire, and they are made of wood. Wood fuels fire. So this is about taking passionate action towards something. And it could be about launching a project, or it's something new coming in, but it's saying that it has already been released. It's basically on its way. And we have the underlying energy from my oracle, Tales from the Vector, courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. This is an oracle that I started back in 2007. And this series of paintings, these were actually ink prints that are on reproduced on canvas, but this is from my series of when I was in Peru in the jungle, and I was doing ceremony with shamans. So this inspired that. This is talking about the karmic space of attachment. A lot of people feel that karma is punishment, but it's actually just cause and effect. It's talking about, your actions, whatever actions you take. If you could have direct karma from that. You take an action and you hurt someone, you cause suffer and struggle for them. And it can also talk about not taking action when you could alleviate that suffering and struggle and know that and not do something about it. Then we can have indirect karma, which would be people that you associate with, or you, in particular, your ancestors. Perhaps your ancestors have crossed the veil and they were not able to clean up their shift before they left. And so somebody in the bloodline has to do it for them to be able to have peace. And so this is talking about sometimes, that it can be leftover energy from karmic, from associations. It can be also people that you associate with other than of course, your ancestors and descendants. This could be, friends, family, business partners, peer group, and all sorts of it. It could be anyone, really, basically, and that you're associated with and that you've taken action with, and that has caused problems for someone, or again, not taking action when you could alleviate it. And then we have the karmic spaces. So there's the karmic spaces we can easily fall into. We're humans, we make mistakes. This is that energy. It's about, the karmic space of attachment for this particular one. It's when we fall into, it's really the mother of all karmic spaces, because if we get attached to someone or something, sometimes we'll, end up doing a bunch of karma, all kinds of karma, to hang on to it or that person. So it's about the energy of this is what's yours is mine and what's mine is mine. And it's about being caught in a web and then having difficulty removing yourself from that energy. We have the Nine of Pentacles. So the Pentacles in tarot represent health, wealth, and happiness. It's talking about on the 3D. So this is talking about the energy of your lifestyle, basically. You could, the coin is representing pentacle energy. The element is earth, and so this is about earthly matters. And of course, money matters on the earth. And so this is talking about, it's shown as a coin, but you could have all the money in the world and still not have your health or love in your life, and you're not going to be living your best lifestyle then. So it's much more than just money. It's about talking about your time, your money, and your energy that you invest in any project or into different people. And this is talking about, what do you anticipate the exchange to be? Is it a fair exchange? And understanding the give and take of that. Not, you have to look after yourself, because if you don't hang, and that's what this energy is talking about. It always reminds me of Nikola Tesla. He would say, if you understood the beauty of the 369, you would have the key to the universe. And I feel in many ways he was talking about that ratio of, of energy. And so here she has her hand on 6 pentacles, which is 2/3 of the 9. And this is saying that so she can pay her, meet all financial requirements to pay her bills in her home and her business, and maybe have a little bit left over in case there's an emergency. And then these other 3 is 1/3 of what she has. And she, maybe gives 1 pentacle to charity, another one is saving up for something special, and the third one here could be about investing in something that is more high risk, and it will really improve her financial security if it succeeds. If it doesn't, it's not going to impede her ability to be able to pay her bills and meet her obligations. And we have that falcon, and that's talking about having the foresight, having learned that, to be able to do that. This is also pre-Empress energy. The Empress is status that you reach in the major arcana of tarot. And it's talking about embodying the qualities of all 4 queens from the minor arcana. It's about going through enough of life experience and being through enough that, and staying on your destined path, and, doing things as best you can the right way, and moving forward in, on your destined path. And so this is talking about that energy here. And then we have the 10 of Wands. So the 10 of Wands, it kind of has a few meanings, this card. All of the tarot cards do. But this one is, definitely this person's load is way too heavy. They're having a hard time bringing it home. If you've ever heard the saying, you can't see the forest because of the trees, that's talking about when you're so up close to a situation that you can't really see the big picture anymore. And so this is he's got his load right in front of his face here. He can't even see that he's maybe 10 minutes from home here, but he feels like he's way further. And this card basically saying, don't give up now, don't quit, keep going, keep going. This is talking about his load could be, the wands represent our actions, as I said, but this could be seeds that he's planted, and they grew into these wands, and now maybe this is representing him harvesting his fruits of labor. So these could just be heavy with the fruit of his labor, but some of them could possibly also be burdens that he's carrying for other people from their actions or interactions with them, that associated karma we were talking about. And this is saying that if that load is too heavy like this, now is the time to put it down, because with this energy, it feels like, with the harvest, then you want to make sure that you get the biggest harvest you can for the effort that you put in. And if you're carrying other people's burdens and it's so heavy that you don't make it home, that's about this energy here. So put down any burdens in the field there, just drop them. And the other thing is sometimes the way I explain it is basically, say a situation where you purchased a house 5 years ago and you really, really liked the house. You've enjoyed living in it. It was a good investment, but now your circumstances have changed and you want to move. So you recognize the house needs work. It needs to be painted. It needs a little bit of work here and there, and then you would have to find a realtor and declutter and pack. and maybe stage it, and you're just like, oh, exhausted at the thought of it on top of everything else that you need to do. So it's something that is still an asset, but it has become burdensome to you just because the circumstances of your life have changed. And so that type of energy is when you could look at the situation and say, well, how can I ease the burden on myself and figure it out? Like, you could get someone else to paint the house for you, and you could find a really good realtor, and realtors usually know people that are good at, in the handyman industry, or contractors, electricians, people that can do the work that you need and get it done at a fair price. And then she or he would also know how to stage that house, and they would know people that have the wherewithal to do that. So you could take a huge amount of that responsibility off your shoulders, and you could use that time that you would have spent doing that to pack and get ready to move forward. And it could be really beneficial for you. It's worth it if it eases the burden, and you're working on wanting to launch something new here like this. Even if you put down 2 of these wands, because it's like you're launching 8, and the other 2, maybe they're burdens that belong to someone else. Or, as I said, you could find someone to ease the load by doing some of the work for you, delegating. And then we have this energy, which is talking about, it's the shift disturber energy. So this is a walking contradiction. This is someone, we can't really quite tell what this person is doing. I mean, it doesn't really make sense. That's why I call this a walking contradiction. There's 2 swords planted here, and he's sneaking away with 5. He's wearing a bright red hat and bright red boots, but he's on tiptoes, and if he's a thief, he's not a thief in the night. He's in broad daylight. So sometimes, the swords in tarot represent the element of air. And this is about your thoughts. And so your thoughts are made up through your mental intelligence and discipline of your mind. That is the sword energy. And you express your thoughts through words, and those words could be written or they could be verbal. Now, this could represent someone sneaking away with intellectual material. This could be someone who maybe is sneaking away with patents. Maybe it's that because it's that, secrets, from companies, whatever that is. This could also represent white collar crime, like, someone sitting at their desk in broad daylight, and it appears that they're doing their job. And people are saying, oh, Joe, he's like, a great guy. He comes early, he leaves late. He takes his lunch, and that's it. He's back at the desk. And, he's always enthusiastic about his work and works really hard. He's one of our best employees. In the meantime, he's pushing paper and maybe there's some money laundering, or, all sorts of, like, whatever those are, forgery, identity theft, that type of energy. And so, this is, it's hard to say. He might just be someone who's being goofy. But the thing is, when you look at this and you see the way he's carrying these swords, that's what bothers me the most about this card, because nobody carries swords like this. They're so sharp. If you carry swords like this and you trip, man, you could really hurt yourself. He could lose his hands here. And yet, there he is going, and he's not even looking where he's going. He's moving forward, but he's looking backward. And so if he's this dangerous with his own energy, how careful do you think he is with other people's? So this is kind of an energy of, even if this isn't someone that's a thief, that doesn't have bad intentions, their actions can be really dangerous, like associations with their actions. If they're, someone that is, unsafe with their own energy like this, they could cause a lot of problems through association. And then the King of Swords energy is talking about an authority figure. And this is generally someone who would use their words to earn their living. So someone who's educated, they would be someone that is maybe in an authority position. This is a king. So this energy is maybe a politician energy. This could be, president, prime ministers, people who are at the top, running their countries, kings, that type of energy. And then also it could be maybe Congress and senators and ministers in the federal government. It could represent the energy, like people who have clout, who make the laws of the land. And then it can also represent the people that enforce them. So the legal systems around the world, the traditional systems, court systems, people who make the laws, and then the people who are in charge of making sure that it happens. This could represent like a head prosecutor. It could be an energy of like the chief of police. It could be lawyers for sure. If this is a lawyer, most likely a lawyer that is a partner in a prestigious firm that is established. This could be it could be someone who wrote a best-selling novel, a social media influencer. Perhaps it could be someone that is a veterinarian. It could be a surgeon, possibly a dentist, maybe a psychiatrist energy. It's someone who's educated, and they're not doing hard labor to to earn their living. They're like, physical. This is more about using their mind and their words. The King of Swords understands, has a very good understanding of words and how to use them, and recognizes they can be used as weapons as well as they could be used to uplift energy in people. And also the King of Swords is very much aware that if you give your word and you don't follow it up with action, that your word becomes like, it's worthless. It doesn't mean anything to anyone. All right, so we have this energy. We don't quite know what it's about yet. There definitely is some sort of action taken, and someone's attached to something or someone. We've got, this is, there's only 10 pentacles. So this would be, 10 of Pentacles would be billionaire, trillionaire energy, and this would be multimillionaire. And there's some sort, it's a heavy load, but hopefully we're talking about it's a heavy load because it's a big harvest here. And this is indicating, though, that this person, to reach the Empress status, it means that you've had to go through different hardships in life. So this could be representing that energy. Something's going on here, but it feels like the energy is, shifting. I think I'm getting the hiccups here. Oh, look at here. And we have heartbreak or heartache. So this energy, yeah, it's sitting on this energy here. So this is talking about like 3 swords in the heart, which is, I feel like this is talking about someone, you've been working hard to get into this energy, and you've really been focused on this. And meanwhile, this is going on at the same time. And this has caused heartache. So this can represent sometimes, there's 3 swords in this heart, and of course that's upsetting. Like, how are you supposed to recover from this? Yet this card is about healing your heart, and it can be talking about forgiveness. Forgiveness is meant for yourself. Like, if you forgive someone, it doesn't mean that you want, like, you don't even have to tell them you forgive them. It's because you want to heal your heart and let go of that energy of whatever happened. It could be like weighing you down and making you feel heavy-hearted. And if you can forgive them, then, it doesn't mean you condone their actions or that you want to hang out with them anymore. You don't even have to tell them you forgive them. It's for yourself, so that you can heal your heart and move forward and have love in your life and love for life. And so this card has several meanings as well. It can talk about the energy of, a third party in a romantic relationship, with dividing a couple. It can talk about the energy of harsh words being spoken, someone who's afraid to speak their truth. It can talk about gossip, slander, perjury in court sometimes. And also, when you look at it, again, you realize the heart is quite a bit bigger than the swords in context. So this is more like, stakes rather than, a sword, or like, so there could be, this is saying there's potential for recovery from this. Quite often this card can also represent a potential for needing to make what would potentially be a heartbreaking decision. And with this energy here, quite often this is representing divorce lawyer energy with this card. And the one thing I didn't mention about this card is sometimes this can represent also the 7-year itch. We have 7 swords here. And it can talk about, statistically, if you get married and you end up divorced, quite often it's in the first year, which really surprised me. I didn't realize that. But then the next most common time is between the 7th and 8th year. And that's why they call it the 7-year itch. And that's when quite often people, maybe Joe is sneaking off on his lunch hour to have a tryst with a third party energy. And so it could be that kind of energy as well. Or this, what's really interesting about that is the 7-year itch also, they discovered, it's very, like if people own a business, and they decide they don't want to do the business anymore or give up on it. You might have your partner come in one day after the 7th year and just say, I'm not doing this anymore. What do you mean? We're just about to have success. Like, we've been successful and we have this big project on the go. And they're, yeah, I just don't want to do it anymore. And so then you're kind of left with having to deal with it. Or you could be, as I mentioned, selling a house came up. So maybe after 7 years, you typically want to sell your house and you move. So it happens not just in matters of love and in marriage and commitments, but also with partnerships in business, and also in where you live, wanting to change the location. And we have the High Priestess. So the High Priestess is saying when there's a lot of, like, this is heavy energy, there's a lot of energy here, that you need to use your intuition as well as your logic. She is sitting in between these 2 pillars, and this behind her is representing a lot of information coming in. These are 2 opposite extremes, and she's getting information from both, and she's trying to sort through it. It's coming in really fast. Information equals energy, so it can cause, that anxiety. When we have, like these days, we have access to so much information, and if you get sort of stuck in that information, it can be overwhelming because you don't know what is real anymore. It's harder and harder to tell with AI. And it's also talking about this information of anxiety caused by it. So this is saying the reason the High Priestess is joyful. Wow, someone's really revving their engine out there. This energy, I hope you can, okay, I think they've left now. So this energy is talking about, the High Priestess follows the cycles of the moon. She knows that when there's a full moon and a new moon, that is when you're most likely to be highly intuitive. And she sorts through the information logically. She asks the logic question, and then okay, there's all these logic answers, but which one? Maybe there's 10 answers here. And she's like, any one of them could work, but which is the best one for me to do? And that's when you want to allow yourself to use your intuition and choose that from the feeling part of you, not thinking. And then you take that energy and you apply that one answer that, okay, this is the one that I feel like is the strongest. And that's the way I'm going to move forward. So then you take action and apply that logically. When you do that, you're going to have a much more creative solution to any problem, and probably have a better outcome with less stress. And we have this is talking about cutthroat energy. So there's, like, it's so interesting here because, like, we have this happy, something's happening, but then there's this energy here. This is a strong energy, although this is talking about the pre-empress energy is talking about dealing with a lot of shift. So And this is cutthroat energy coming towards you. This is talking about outer conflict. Someone who's willing to risk absolutely anything and everything to get what they want. But you are standing up for yourself here. This is you, and you've, like, these two people already have laid down their swords. This is like, and it's like, hey, you want to come at me again? Because I'll fight the next person as well. Like, I am standing up for myself. I worked hard for this, and I'm not having anyone sneak away with it, or, your intuition is telling you you need to stand up for yourself here. But you're standing up against some very cutthroat energy. Look at it, even the clouds in the sky. It looks like someone took a sword and just ripped the sky open. It's like, really intense energy. And then this energy is also talking about this person. This can represent 3 different versions of you. This can represent your subconscious mind, which is formed by the time you're 6 or 7. Now, when we get triggered, we tend to use the subconscious mind because it's heavily imprinted on us. But we don't necessarily know, like that is quite often the thoughts of the people that were in charge of our care, because it's heavily imprinted by 6 or 7. We don't remember much of it ourselves. And, think about how much a baby learns, in the first year of life alone, and then up into kindergarten. It's basically, your culture, even the food you eat, your religion, everything is kind of, it's like a baby's like a sponge absorbing that environment. And so the subconscious mind, when we get stressed out, is the first one that tends to pop up. But it's not necessarily the best decision for us now as an adult. And then we have the unconscious mind, and that is our spiritual needs. And a lot of people will agree I'm a soul with a human, I'm a human with a soul. But from the soul's perspective, you are a soul traveling in a human body as your vehicle. And this is talking about if the unconscious needs, your spiritual needs, are not being met, the unconscious mind will start getting very loud, and it'll start arguing with the subconscious and the conscious mind. So the conscious mind is then, what you have a handle on. Hey, I just cleaned these 2 guys' clocks, and if anyone else comes at me, I'll clean theirs too. I'm standing up for what's mine. I worked hard for this. And so this is that type of energy. This is saying if you can bring those 3 together and work really hard with them, and then plug that into your heart, that's when the healing energy happens in the heart. So when these 2 cards come together, I feel like you've done a lot of inner work, because outer conflict is going to cause inner conflict, and then inner conflict attracts more outer conflict. So it's kind of a vicious circle. And if your mind is overthinking about it, you need to use your intuition to and plug into your heart. And if everything's working together, then you get to go after your authentic desires. That's what's why this energy is here. Most of this is hardship, but this is about how to deal with it with your intuition as well as your logic. And that's the energy. And this is talking like this may have been going on since your childhood. We have this energy here is talking about, wanting to get out of the chaotic water. Like the rough water here is representing mixed emotions, volatile emotions. This is talking about wanting to move off to calmer waters. And the conveyor represents taking you there to go meditate and pray, isolate yourself, be calm, so that you can ask God, the Most High, for your next actions, because it's all just been too much. And quite often this can talk about, we have an adult here, and we have a child here, and we have the 2 swords. So perhaps the 2 swords here are talking about whatever happened here triggered something that you couldn't remember from your subconscious mind, and now you realize my inner child needs healing. And so you're going off, and this conveyor, he has to dig this long pole really deep into the mud to push out of that. It takes a lot of courage to face your shadow side and look at what happened when I was younger, and how has that affected me? And looking at your shadow side, What, you know, how am I contributing to this? I don't want to have inner conflict and attract this outer conflict. So this is about healing your inner child and working through meditation and prayer to be with God. And then we have, look at this, earth angel energy. And so this is talking about the healing, I feel. This is about, the temperance is devotion to your path of destiny. And it's called the path of glory. And the sun here is represent happiness. This is God's energy and staying on your destined path or getting back on it after being thrown off by all this energy. And so in the Bible, it says 144,000 angels are sent down by God. And a lot of people feel that this is talking about those earth angels. It's about adding that special alchemy to the universal pool of water and then grounding that onto earth. And look at where her left foot is. She's already growing beautiful flowers. So this is about being calm, being in your temperance is when you don't give in to anger and other emotions that cause you to go off course. You do your best to stay calm and that's when that energy happens. That's the pre-empress energy, basically. This is a lot of shift going on. And look at this, a time for rest. Isn't this interesting? Like, there's so much here about hardship, you know? And then there's this energy here, and at the top we have the healing of it. Because this is talking about putting your mind to rest, hanging your subconscious, unconscious, and conscious mind on the wall, and meditating and praying so that you can have peace. On this stained glass window is the word Pax, P-A-X, representing peace, peace of mind. So this is saying you end up with peace of mind, and then you can move forward and have a much better situation. And this could be... I don't know, this energy, this cutthroat energy could be actions that they are taking because they're attached to what's yours is mine and what's mine is mine. So this is, and this is Charlotte's Web. Yeah, whoa, I'm getting goosebumps here. So this is talking about the actions that other people who are attached to this energy here, wanting it, and they're willing to risk everything to have it. And that's the energy being directed towards you. So this is some sort of karmic space that is being cleared. That's the good news. Like we have the pre-empress energy, and then we have there's a lot of conflict, a lot of cutthroat energy, a lot of people taking actions towards you. This is maybe triggered something in your in your subconscious mind that has come up now, and you realize, I need to heal this. You pray and meditate and isolate yourself, go into, meditative state, and you want to get in touch with what your authentic desires from the heart are, so that you can have a beautiful garden on earth. Like, you're meant to come down here and enjoy a beautiful life. And this is talking about being able to heal all of this energy by plugging into this peaceful energy into your heart. I love that. And then this is maybe talking about an authority figure looking after this energy. I feel like the burdens are coming in from whatever this energy is, that it's, if there's some sort of legal energy here, I feel that it's being clear, that there's some sort of authority figure here that is looking into this or whatever, and that it will be brought to justice, I feel. You will have peace of mind. That's at the top of the pyramid. Wow, it's a lot of energy though. I'm going to clarify with my oracle. If you're leaving the reading here, thank you for your time and energy. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your likes, comments, shares, subscribes. They're helping me build my channel. This is, as I said, the numbers on, this is from my oracle, Tales from the Vector. And the numbers are on these cards represent the paintings in my gallery on my website, talesfromthevector.com. You can check it out if you want. I will put them in the order that they appear here in the description box below. So if you want to go and know which paintings to look at, you can. So we have the Aquarius energy here. I just want to point out, when I have horoscope signs come in my readings, I'm not talking about individuals, I'm talking about the energy. And I feel like in this reading, you could be saying, no, Colette, there's an Aquarius involved, and, trust your intuition on that. But I just want you to understand that's not my intention. This Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus has been coming up in a lot of the readings. And normally I don't involve too much of the horoscope energy because, the astrological influences, because they shift and change. But this one is really significant because Uranus moved into the sign of Gemini about a month ago from now, a little month and a bit. And this energy, it has not been in this energy. Uranus has not been in Gemini since 1941 to 1949. And it's coming up over and over again in the readings. So I feel like this energy could be all the way back then. That's like 75 years ago. Like this. But the thing to understand about this energy is that the Uranus in Gemini brings the truth out. And so we're seeing this all, as I'm doing this reading now, it's like, almost the end of June. And we're seeing a lot of stuff coming up in the news, and bang, the truth's coming out in the weirdest ways too. Weird things are happening to bring the truth out. And then there's some really weird truths. And this energy is talking, this could be, you could be a father, or this could be about your father, or it could be talking about people that you look up to as fathers, somehow being involved in this energy. So it could be father of your children. It could be like family members, or just people that that you look up to and you go to advice as a father. It might be saying, remember what I was saying here, that you might be able to find someone to empower you. Falling and failing in love is a matter of I. Yeah. This is about your heart chakra and needing to clear it. If you've had negative experiences in love, it can cause you to be really, like it can do so much damage that you just say, I'm not doing love anymore. And that's not the best place to be. You deserve to have love in your life. But it's saying that you need to look after yourself, like this Empress energy has learned, especially if you're going through something this difficult, because this is a lot of energy. And dealing with that, wow. And so this is saying falling and failing in love is a matter of I. You have to love yourself enough to heal. And then we have the karmic space of indifference. Yeah, that's when a bunch of people say, oh yeah, like we're like, to your face, they're really, yeah, we're all in this together. We're like so excited about this project. And behind the scenes, they're not. And so it's an indifference to your suffering. They know what's going on, but they don't do anything about it. They're like, hey, there's maybe I can get a piece of this pie as well. And then we have the Capricorn energy coming in. So the Capricorn energy is talking about responsibility. Capricorn energy is, the senior of all the pentacle energy. It's the most ambitious, and it's also the most responsible. Capricorn energy, when it's strong, is like disciplined steps of action towards goals, very determined to reach those goals, and can see the possibilities in any challenge. And then we have the Gemini energy. Again, I feel this is talking about Uranus moving into Gemini. And Uranus will be in Gemini until probably around mid-2033. So from the time of this reading, which is like the end of June, for the next 7.5 to 8 years, we'll be feeling this truth coming in the weird, like communicated in surprising ways. Every day you just go look at the news and you'll be like, what? What is going on now? And then we have the Taurus energy. So the Taurus is learning about the give and take. So Taurus is talking about learning to receive, to be in that energy of being able to receive, as well as knowing how much to give and take. That's about this journey. Taurus is the toddler. And you notice, like, if you ever get a toddler, I say it's the toddler of the universe, or of the horoscope, because it's the second sign only. And it's the youngest of all the pentacle signs. The Capricorn energy is the most mature. And, there's a huge gap between the two about learning about, the give and take in life and how much energy to put into something in that. But this is saying, I feel that you have learned this journey. And, the one thing about the Taurus energy, toddlers, if you ask them to share and they don't want to, they could throw a major fit and be like a bull in a china shop. But they are the most loving of all. And bulls actually are very gentle creatures. And then we have this energy of the Empress at the top. There we go. So you finally have the peace of mind and you become full on an Empress and you're able to manifest what you want. And the people that are taking action because they are attached to what is yours will fall back. This is your you taking this now and forging forward with your goals. This energy is, I feel, being brought to justice. All right. I do hope you've enjoyed this. This has been a bit longer than usual of them, but it just sometimes takes longer to do a reading. I do hope you've enjoyed it. Please give it a like and comment if you have. It really helps me build my channel. Consider subscribing if you resonate with the energy. I'll be back with another reading about random shifts soon. Bye for now.